Okay, so how do you determine tempos for like what is the tempo ordinario? Define it, and like how do we look at a score? Maybe it might not have Maisel's metronome number. How do we determine this tempo from the notes itself and all the information that we see in the score?
Well, that's a really complex topic, and I'm not even like the specialist of this. But let's start from what I know. So let's say that people should know that the tempi ordinari, because also we talk about tempo ordinario, but like there are multiple tempi ordinari, I guess. So it's they are standard tempi where you assign a certain duration to a note value in a certain time signature with a certain Italian tempo indication. So, for example, still in the 19th century, deep in the 19th century, the concept of tempo ordinario in 4/4, it's like that you assign the second to the quarter note. If you have 16 notes as structural note value. And if you look at the metronome numbers, they always start from a quarter note 120, exactly twice as fast. So this idea of tempo ordinario was something still alive until deep in the 19th century, and it comes from a long time before. And so that's how also you build your interpretation. I mean, on works that are not metronomized. So you were talking about Bach. So we don't have clearly any metronomization or any pendulumization, I will say, by Bach. But the system applies. So you know that you take the notation, you take the fastest note values. You look if there's any particular ornamentation, because that determines your tempo as well. Any particular articulation. So these are the things, but you start always from that idea of tempo ordinarium. So guess what? If your structural note values are 8 notes, maybe your allegro can be a little bit faster than the second. Or maybe if you have 13 second notes, that means that you have to slow your tempo from the standard 60 quarter note, and so you go a little bit slower. Why so? Because the principle is that you should be able to play a piece without any tempo change, unless it's indicated, of course. But if there are no tempo change indications, you should be able to play any passage, even the most difficult ones, the fastest ones, without changing your tempo. And that's something that doesn't really belong anymore to our current way of playing. And that's why we don't come to the same idea of tempi, because guess what? You can go as fast as you can, and when you have the first difficult passage, we call upon the so-called tempo rubato, which is not that, of course, but it's, so to say, the handbrake to just slow down, because otherwise you cannot play the difficult passage at the same tempo. So that's a little bit the idea.